Well, hello. Today we're actually here. I'm actually at work, my office, but we're going to be replacing the battery, the rechargeable battery on a BMW Key. All right, this key is actually from a 2002 BMW M3 that belongs to my father. The battery is not working, so it seems like it sometimes will work, but it's been years. So this is from 2002, so obviously it's several years old. It's a rechargeable battery, but these things go bad after a while. So what we're gonna need today, and I'll put the link in the description for everything that I bought today, is a battery. It's got two prongs. This is a 90-degree. I'm guessing that's what it's gonna, what it's gonna need. Until I open it up, I won't really know for sure. A screwdriver, or I have this tool that I can use, but a small screwdriver will work. You're gonna need a razor blade, and a scalpel would probably be better. Some more precision. You're gonna need some crazy glue to glue it back together, and you're gonna need a soldering iron if you want to do it right. I've seen a lot of people do it without the soldering iron. This I actually just bought, so it'll be my first time really playing around with this. You may not need solder, but I'll put a link for the kit. There's your soldering iron and just a holder for it. But that's all you're gonna need in order to replace that battery. All right, so this is what your key looks like. There's no way to open this. It's actually glued in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the, you can use an X-Acto knife, or, you can use one of these razor blades to score it and eventually open that up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with that. All right, so I've scored it pretty well now. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna try to see if I can pry this open little by little. All right, so as you can see right now, I've scored it and I'm trying to pry it a little bit. So I think I'm going to go ahead, I'm gonna try to get the blade in between there to kind of finish opening that up. I think I've gotten through. All right, I think I've gotten through, at least on this side. So just put a little pressure, go all the way around. Now I'm going to try to score this side of it. So I think I finally got through. This might have a little bit of crack on it, so you got to be careful in this little range here. But I should be able to open this. And there you have it. I got it open. All right. So this is your battery. What you're gonna have to do in order to, this whole thing will pull right out. This whole thing comes out. That's your board. Your buttons in there. All right, so battery's on one side, your board's on the other side. What I'm going to end up doing is I am going to, let me try to focus this. I guess the goal here is your battery's held on by these two prongs. All right, so your battery's held on by two prongs. There's one here, and there's another one on this side. So they're both 90-degree. This is where they're connected to the board. So you have two of them there. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to use a soldering iron to melt this metal here so that we can just pull the battery out. So that's what I'm going to end up doing now. All right, so I placed this blade underneath, use a screwdriver or whatever, just so that I can actually pry this off after it softens. So I'm going to go ahead. I put the temperature on this one at it looks like it's 482. I'm not sure. That's what I tested with some of this solder cable or whatever it's called, and it seems to melt it. So doesn't want to let go. There you go. On this side here, I'm gonna see if I can touch that a little bit there in that corner and get the entire thing released here. All right, it's turning to liquid, and now we'll pry. And it's out. All right, so we got the old battery out. All right, so this is what the old battery looks like, and this is what we're left with. So we're gonna have to melt those 2 points, and we'll reuse the solder in order to get the new battery in. So it's a Panasonic VL 2020. So it's a rechargeable battery, and that's going to go in right in here. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna place this right on, with the prongs going through those holes, and then once I melt the solder, I will kind of try to push down on this in order to make it go through. All right, so those are in the correct spots. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use the soldering iron to melt the solder, and they should pop right through with a little bit of pressure. So that's going through, and that's going through. You should be able to press down. So let's take a look at it. It's definitely coming through. All right, so this is what we're looking at once the battery is sticking out a little bit more. I'm going to see if it'll fit into the case, and as long as it fits into the casing, we should be okay. It's kind of tight. All right, so I ended up just pressing this battery to bend that little clips, because otherwise the battery doesn't sit flat. So I'm going ahead and I'm just pushing that down a little bit just to bend that in, and it'll sit flat after that. So I just push down, it'll bend that little clip, because because honestly, these things are the original ones are a little thinner here. This has a little, you know, it doesn't go all the way down that way. So I'm going to look for a different battery. This I don't like, but it should end up working. And then we're going to look about, I guess, putting this back on here. And then from here, you're just going to have to glue. From here, you're just going to have to glue this whole thing down. All right. So pressing that battery down, you know, you can see it all comes back together. And from here, I guess we're just going to have to crazy glue it. All the buttons click, and I'll let you know if it works. I actually have to give it to my father. He's going to take it back to his house and use it on his car. But for now, I'm actually going to glue it back together, and I am going to put some rubber bands on it just to hold it in place so until the glue heals or the glue dries. I got this crazy glue that, you know, it's a Gorilla glue that has a brush. They all have them where you can, you know, grab a brush, so it'll have either a tip or it'll have the brush. It should be on this side, and I just find the brush a little easier. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna place the glue around the edges here. Alright, this is starting to stick to my hand. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna place this on top and just press down. Buttons are all clicking. So what I'm gonna do now, I mean, I'm definitely pressing it down pretty hard, but I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm gonna put some rubber bands around this. Alright, so I'm going to leave this, and this should dry in a couple hours. When my dad goes home tonight, you know, I'll ask him to make sure that everything was working fine, but everything looks like it should be working like it's supposed to. And this actually recharges the battery through the vehicle. That's the way that their system works, so that battery should have a charge, but it'll probably get even more, you know, more charged as he uses the vehicle. Alright, so if I post this video, then that means I've already talked to my father and everything worked out correctly. If not, then I'll go back and, you know, go back to the drawing board. But that is how you replace the battery on a BMW KeyFob that has a rechargeable battery. And this is a diamond shaped, and this belongs to a 2002 BMW M3. But this key was used up until, you know, probably the early 2000s. It's been around for a while, so there's a lot of people. I know the dealerships can charge you like up to $200 to replace this battery. Well, they don't replace the battery, they just have to cut you a new key. So, you know, I hope this will save somebody some money, and it's not, you know, a really simple job. It's just opening something up and replacing the battery. You do have to solder. A lot of people I've seen don't solder it. They just place it in there, and actually they will reuse the, they'll just, you know, dislodge the battery from this little clip, and they'll sandwich the battery in between these two clips without removing this, like I did, you know. So that's another way to do it. I wanted to do it the right way, which is to remove and solder, but you know, you can definitely just stick a blade underneath here to remove this little clip here, and that's one way to doing it. But you know, I did it with the soldering iron. So the link will be in the description for the soldering iron kit that I used for the battery. I'll look for a different battery because I didn't like the battery that came with the one that I use today. It's usable, it works, but it makes it a little bit more difficult. So anyways, I hope this helps you out. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and just leave any comments. Let me know if it worked for you, if somebody else, and obviously this is me doing it. It's at your own risk. My father has 2 keys, so this is his spare key. So if something did go wrong, he has his other one that's kind of working. So once this has worked, then I will, go ahead and do his other key fob. So actually, most likely, I will be doing another key fob, and I will be using a different battery because I didn't like the connectors on this one. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope it helped you out.